So this is the Voyage mechanic I just made, and now I can come in here, and I'm basically running what I just made. Showed you. So the downside in here is if you die, you lose everything in here. Like, you only get one death in these. That's why I'm playing very conservatively. I'm not trying to rush through. Um, Makes it really cool, but at the same time, it also kind of sucks when you die and then if you notice all these icons on here. So the icon basically means that like I can't just like if I die I drop it, right? Because it's not safe yet. It's still waterlogged or whatever that sort of mechanic they call is, but effectively it's waterlogged. And then as I get to these new areas that I charted out, I will be able to find a thing that will actually allow me to kind of safely pull my loot out. Similar to like a looter shooter type of game where you have you went in and you got to extract your loot. Same thing. So right here, go to this capsule, and now I can drop in. Care about that. It's called dredged. Um, so yeah. Oh, bad. These messages in a bottles can have like anything in the game. Um, I don't know if they can technically drop miracleanders. I'm sure they can, but people's gotten like 7 or 8 divines in them. I think in theory it can do a stack of any currency. It's just obviously like everything else, the more rare the currency, the more rare it is to actually get that. This is what I'm ideally coming in here for right now is the gold piles. I'm spending a lot of gold buying things, um, namely maps right now, because I still need a lot of maps for my Warzone. So again, just come in here, control click everything in, send it to the surface. So now if I die, then I don't lose anything. And the build I'm playing is a elementalist because that's like the strongest class in the game right now. Um, I'm playing Penance brand, so basically I put a brand on a brand to target, and then every couple of seconds or every like zero point 0.1 seconds, it gains a charge. Once it gets to max charges, it explodes. And so the purpose of this build is that every time I hit, it it applies an ignite, which is a damage over time. So that's why like I do this, it explodes, and then you see things slowly die. It doesn't die in one hit; it dies over time. And so I'm a effectively a damage over time build. Um, but it allows you to kind of play it safe, or just run in like a moron, like I usually do. Far more fun. But, yeah. So on the charts, like some of these will say like, oh hey, it has a strong box, or it has a specific type of strong box. The one I'm looking for mostly is called an operative strongbox that drops scarabs, and scarabs are something that I really need in SSF because I can't just buy them from people who have them, so I have to actually go out and farm them myself. Similarly, essences. Um, Essences are rougher to get in here. And trade, you would just go out and buy all of them, but I can't do that. So I'm cleaning out everything around this, dropping a couple brands, and then immediately frost blinking away. Similar to here, I'm gonna throw 2 brands on the ground. They're right there. I'm gonna click this, frost blink away. So in that way they go on the guy, and then yeah. I was hoping to see a like strongbox or some more essences back here. Nada. So let's go ahead and extract all of these. I'm at 28 out of 66. Um, I'm gonna go to the top right now. Ideally, I probably wanted to go to like the bottom. But, cool, another essence. So this is huge. Let's go. So here you just get to collect a bunch of loot. That because I don't care. That guy finally died. And so what I'm looking for is on essences. You'll see that there's different tiers. So there's shrieking, screaming, blah 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 blah. So I'm looking for shrieking of the meds. So if they do, then I would corrupt it. But since they don't, I'm not. So misery, envy, dread, and scorn. So this is sorrow, so I don't care. Um, there's certain corrupted essences that are really good, and my build needs them. So that's kind of what I'm hunting for, so to speak, on these essences. So you can tell, like, is this kind of cool? Yeah. Um, is it also really lame that like it takes you out of mapping, like it does all that stuff? Yeah, like you're doing a trade-off on what do you think is going to be more profitable, this or maps? Versus some mechanics is just like, oh hey, mapping is just better now. There's new mechanics in maps, and like you don't have to leave. It just you get to map and do all this extra stuff, and that's much more what I would prefer personally. So I finished all this. I still have 13, so now I'm gonna go ahead and go. Air effect is good for me. And yes, there are certain builds where you actually don't want more area of effect. It will like cause weird overlaps and stuff where like you actually don't do as much damage. Seems counterintuitive. Like you would think like the bigger area you hit, the better it would be, but that's not necessarily the case. spells do like damage on the ground. Like there's a skill called Toxic Rain, and that skill basically shoots like poison poison arrows from the ground, and because of that, it falls into like certain circles. Well, if you have the right amount of overlap, then you can actually get multiple circles on one person. But if you have too much, then you actually overspread them, and then you actually lose a lot of damage because you're now doing, your spells are taking up too much space now, and it's no longer overlapping because it's kind of pushing each other away. Okay, so I got one more. I'm just gonna open this up. So once you open this up, then we're going to crap, and actually send all this to the surface. This is great. Surface. Um, I screwed up. I actually want to call this. Yes. So um, I was supposed to send that earlier. So now our submarine is coming down to save us, and a bunch of monsters are annoyed because you're creating a bunch of noise, and so now they're coming out of the woodworks to attack us. And so you have to kind of fend them off. And you can see there's our ship, and now I click it, and bam, I'm out. And that's the entire mechanic. Like, so that's a major part of kind of why it's boring. Like, cool, you know. Um, I got to go and do some stuff, I guess, but like, yeah. Now I got to pick up all this junk, and like, it doesn't even respect the essences. So like, when I click essences, it doesn't even send that to the right area. It's just like, what, what is happening? You have to actually like go to the right thing. So that's why it's like everything here is just, I don't know, kind of janky. Like, I don't really have a great way to describe it. It's just weird. Now you can hide that, and now you can just remove it to your inventory, which is what it should just do all along. Or it should just automatically put it in the right spot. So that was that, and then the charts. That was kind of the big one, and now the chart. I don't think I showed a chart at the beginning. Yes, I don't care. This is a much smaller area. As I was saying, like, you usually get these done in like less than a minute. So the way I think that it works is the, and I actually do need these maps, which is why I'm grabbing them. I think the green actually kind of points like where treasure is. But it's kind of cool. Like, you get to go see like the ocean floor and stuff. But oh, I almost died. And then, yeah, that's it. So you just do that over and over until you get enough of them to actually come in here and plan out your voyage. And here's where you can see like this one does 17% or 17 additional cluster barrels, more magic monsters, wild wisps, voyage areas, golden lanterns. So it's like here's where you kind of get all this stuff, and then as you hover over these, like this has more gold, um, and so you can see like it only applies to this one. And so for the one equipment converted to gold, here's where you might want to do something like more magic monsters one, because then more monsters means more loot. More loot means more gold. Rare monsters drop an additional Vol Orb, so here is where you would want the most amount of magic or the most amount of rares possible. Um, yeah, equipment converted to gold, treasure anchors. Yeah, that's pretty much the entire mechanic.